Shalom. Let's start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Demayim in Atlanta, and on the screen I've got a lesson from GMS Atlanta Devout Servants. And the Bishop Atazawam in Atlanta was going into what these scientists, these fake scientists, are claiming to have discovered, which is the most realistic image of, as they say, Christ, quote unquote. But we know that this is a false image. These scientists are just liars, and that's not even his name. It's Yahweh Shai. And the Bishop Atazawam was going into Esau's lies, his science, his false science, and the iconoclasm that they have pushed around the earth to deceive the whole earth in order to boost up their image and put down our image. And so, considering the false science that they've used, because they're saying they're using scientists to come up with the most realistic image of the Messiah, but it's all false. He's not described as looking that way. The bishop was even going into how that's Cesare Borgia that has been pushed. And the word science means to know, but these scientists, Esau scientists, don't know. They have no idea, so which makes them false scientists. That makes them liars. So they're just pretending to know, and people completely believe them because they have all these degrees and they've been boosted up within society, but they don't know. This is 1 Timothy 6:20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. And Esau has used his false sciences to push a false narrative around the earth, which would be that the Israelites are not a melanated people. They try to keep showing that image that they have there, which supposedly came from the Shroud of Turin, and they've gathered how Yahweh Shai actually looked. It's all just lies, because the Lord is described as being a dark-skinned person, as well as the tribe of Judah. So we're going to start here in Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. And that word there for black is quadar. It says to mourn, to be dark. But you also go into the Strong's definition, quadar, which is Strong's H 6937. It says to be ashy, to be dark colored. So it's not just talking about the mourning, it's actually going into color. It says by implication to mourn, to be blackish, to make dark. Heavily calls to mourn. But when you go here into the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, come down to number 2, it says to be of a dirty blackish color, of a sun-burnt skin, to be darkened as the day, the sun and the moon. And so it's actually going into skin color as well. It's showing darkness, to be dark. The tribe of Judah were dark-skinned individuals. It wasn't just because of the mourning. They were dark-skinned. And Esau being the so-called white people, so-called Europeans or Caucasians, and this includes the small hatters, they have gone around pushing their iconoclasm and their false image, to where people assume that the Lord is a pale skinned man, but he's not that. He comes from Judah, and Judah, the tribe of Judah, are dark skinned people. I'm going to go to Hebrews just to back up the point. And this is Hebrews 7 and verse 14. And it says, "For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah," Judah being a dark-skinned tribe, the head tribe of the nation of Israel. It says, "Of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood." And so, if he came from a dark-skinned tribe, he would have to be dark-skinned, and he is. That is exactly how he's described. It's the burnish. Let's just go to Revelation. Revelation 1 and 14. "His head and his hairs were like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. And his voice is the sound of many waters." That wool, going into the texture of his hair, being like wool, and Negroes are known to have woolly hair. And then it also says that his feet were like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. This is showing his dark skin. He has dark skin. He came out of Judah, which are dark-skinned people, and it's even telling you his image here in Revelation 1. He's dark-skinned, but the Edomites have pushed a false image. Salakia, using their pseudoscience, their false science, and using their artists to render a pale image, which in the Renaissance they used the image of Cesare Borgia, and before that, back in the ancient world, they used the image of Ptolemy's son for Serapis Christos. They have always tried to push their false images, the false images of what they call the Lord and his son. They try to push that as pale people, but they're not. And if you're going to worship the Lord, you really have to do it in truth. You can't, if you believe that image of pale skin JC is actually true, you're not worshiping the Lord in spirit and in truth, which means you're not really worshiping him at all. You are idolizing something else. This is John 4 and verse 21. Yahushua saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. And this woman at the well was a heathen woman. And that's why he's telling her this. And so if you believe that everybody can be saved, that the Lord loves everyone, you're not worshiping in spirit and in truth. And you're jeopardizing your own salvation by doing that. As well as if you believe in that pale image that's been pushed, if you believe in that false name that has been pushed, you are jeopardizing your own salvation. Which, I'm just going to say it, you're not going to be delivered from the nuclear fire that is coming to America if you're believing these lies that the Edomites have pushed. It says, you worship you know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. It's where Jew comes from Judah, from Judean, from Judah, and Judah being dark-skinned. If you don't understand that, you don't know what you're worshiping. If you're worshiping that false image and calling on the false name and going by their false doctrine, you really have no idea what you worship, because this Bible condemns the Edomites, whose image that is, and it condemns all the blasphemy that they've pushed, including that image and the name and their false doctrine that they call Christianity, because Christianity is really just Esau's version of the Bible in which you magically could be saved, but they can't be saved. That's a lie as well, that they could be saved. It says, but the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. And you're seeing the prophets, starting with the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, on the corners throughout all of America and throughout the world, worshiping in truth, in spirit and in truth, because there's the correct image, the correct name, the correct doctrine. It says, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. And all these other people, their hearts just full of lies. It says, the Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So if you're going off on any part, like the image, like the name, like the doctrine, you're not actually worshiping the Father. Because you must. There's no option. You have to worship him in spirit and in truth. This is John 8 and verse 32. It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The truth of the matter. You need to know the truth. You need to know that that image is a false image. You need to know that the true name of the Father is Yahweh, and the true name of the Son is Yahweh Shai. You need to know the true doctrine, in which not everyone can be saved. It's just about the Israelites being saved. And even of the Israelites, it's only 1/3 of the Israelites that get delivered from the destruction. You need to know these things because it unlocks fear. And that fear is used to persuade men. That fear is what you need to worship the Lord in spirit and in truth. And understanding the truth of the matter makes us come out from under the Edomites, who we have been placed under, knowing that they have lied about everything within the scriptures. And I really do mean everything. They've lied about everything within the scriptures, who the true people are, what the true image is, what the true doctrine is, not incorporating any pagan ideology within the doctrine. You need to know these truths to come from under Esau and to point the finger at him for being the devil, which devil goes into deceiver, and they've done nothing but deceive the whole planet through their blasphemies of making people think that they are the actual people when they're the people that the Lord hates. You need these truths to unlock the understanding that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai want to give us. You need these truths. This is Isaiah 10 and 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, ones that are waking up and standing up on our feet, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, which is where you get the Israelites from, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. Him that smote them being the Edomites. Our twin brother, our wicked twin brother Esau. We've been placed into their hands, and they've dealt treacherously with us. They've dealt violently with us and deceptively with us, with making us think that they're the true people of the Lord and that they're the true Christians, that they have the truth. They've dealt deceptively with us, violently with us, and we are coming from underneath them because of the truth, because of the Lord's truth. So you do have to know the truth, and you do have to worship the Lord in spirit and in truth, and getting away from those false images that have been pushed. That image should anger you. It says, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. You can't go for the heathen lies. that have been pushed around. We have to wake up out of it. And we have to bring it forward. We have to discuss that these are lies, because piece by piece it brings down parts of this evil man's system and the strongholds that have been established around the earth. This all has to be brought down, and so you have to know the truth to bring it down, to be a part of that spiritual war, and to come from up under this man. Knowing the truth makes you despise them for what they've done, and makes it a lot, almost impossible for them to fool you with their lies, because we have the truth from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And so, got to come out of that. Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.